Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Well, we're going to go back a long time today, 87 years back to May 7th, 1935, an episode of Calling All Cars, the West Coast program brought to you by Rio Grande Gasoline. Rio Linda's a different thing in California. The Wilding Chrysanthemum, the name of this one. We thank you for joining us on this Saturday, 7th day of May, 127th day of the year. We have 238 days remaining until we get to 2022. Joan of Arc ended the siege of Orleans on this date in 1429, pulling an arrow from her own soldier and returning wounded to lead the final charge. The victory marked a turning point in the 100 Years' War. Germany signed an unconditional surrender at Allied headquarters in France on this date in 1945 to take effect the following day, ending the European conflict of World War II. A recording made 3 days earlier by General Eisenhower was broadcast.
Throughout the United Nations, the rejoicing bells peal forth. Those bells voice our happiness that the Nazi scourge has been eliminated from the earth. But for the remaining enemy of humankind, Japan, those bells are sounding an imminent doom.
The American people would begin celebrating the victory the following day, though some started right away. Tokyo Telecommunications Engineering, founded on this date in 1946, it would become later known as Sony. Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev announced his nation was holding American U-2 pilot Gary Powers on this date in 1960. And in 1964, Pacific Airlines Flight 773, a Fairchild F-27 airliner, crashed near San Ramon, California, killing all 44 aboard. FBI later reported a cockpit recorder tape indicated the pilot and co-pilot had been shot by a suicidal passenger. Space Shuttle Endeavour launched on its maiden voyage on this date in 1992, and Mercedes-Benz bought Chrysler for $40 billion on this date in 1998 and formed Daimler Chrysler. Scandal rocking the Catholic Church on this date in 2002 with the arrest and arraignment of Reverend Paul Shankly, accused of sexually molesting a minor.
It is over a period of 6 years, between 1983 and 1990. The offenses alleged occurred on diverse dates on almost a weekly basis. The complainant has alleged that the defendant would take him out of a CCD class at St. Jean's Parish in Newton and bring him to various places, the rectory, the confessional, and in the bathroom of the rectory.
In February of 2005, Shankly, found guilty of indecent assaults and the rape of a male minor, received a sentence of 12 to 15 years in prison. And in 2004, businessman Nick Berg beheaded by Islamic militants. The act recorded on videotape and released on the internet. Passing away on this date, from Zorro and Lost in Space, Guy Williams, musician Eddie Rabbitt, You Don't Love Me Anymore, and actor Douglas Fairbanks Jr., all passing away on this date in history. This is the birthday of Russian composer Tchaikovsky, also Gabby Hayes, actor Gary Cooper, also actor Darren McGavin, actress Ann Baxter, comedian Toady Fields, Teresa Brewer. You remember her? Put another nickel in the Nickelodeon. Yeah, you remember her. She was born on this date. And pro wrestler Owen Hart. Birthday number 76 for Thelma Houston, Don't Leave Me This Way. And Kevin Owens of the WWE, 38 today. Those some of the people who celebrate the 7th day of May as their birthday. And if this is your birthday...
Hi, we're the Four Freshmen, and we just want to say... Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
From 87 years ago, May 7th, 1935, Calling All Cars. That's up next on this Saturday Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite station.
Hi, this is Kyle Horvath with the White Pine County Tourism and Recreation Board. If you want to get away from the big cities and get back to nature this summer, give us a call at 775-289-3720 or visit us online at elinevada.net. There's so much to do and see I can't mention it in 30 seconds, but check out our website and you'll see what Nevada is really all about. elinevada.net or follow us on Facebook or Instagram. Give us a call at 775-289-3720 or visit us online at elinevada.net.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
You're listening to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We do have a few shows of Amos and Andy going back to 1929, but they're of absolutely abysmal quality, and we'll only run those every so often. But my goodness, Calling All Cars. I guess the folks at Radio Archives have found a whole bunch of those for us. And I thought, we're going to May 7th, 1935. We actually have some shows from 1934, and we'll get to those in the future sometime. But let's listen to this. Originally broadcast on the west coast of the United States, sponsored by Rio Grande Gasoline, Calling All Cars, May 7th, 1935, 87 years ago today. I wonder if crime's any different now than it was then.
Calling All Cars, a copyrighted program created by the Rio Grande Oil Company.
Los Angeles Police calling all cars, attention all cars, broadcast 76, a missing juvenile. Molly Mariko Kanda, Japanese, age 2 years, 10 months. Disappeared from home in the company of her mother. If found, notify the Crime Prevention Bureau. That's all. Rosencliff.
Hey, Sam, look at this newspaper. Amazing progress made by the Rio Grande Oil Company.
Well, what does it say, Lou?
Why, it says Rio Grande sales growing faster than any other gasoline in this market. Rio Grande expanding into new territories. Rio Grande has so many city contracts it powers more police cars than any other brand. Hey, Sam, how in the world do they do it in the face of all this competition from other oil companies?
Well, Rio Grande has something no other Western gasoline has, the exclusive right to make crack gasoline by the Sinclair cracking process. It took millions of dollars and years of research to perfect crack gasoline.
But does that make such a difference? Honestly now, Sam, aren't all gasolines about alike?
No, not on your life. Why, there's all the difference in the world between Rio Grande cracked and ordinary uncracked gasoline.
Why? What does cracking do?
Well, for example, take this newspaper. Here, we'll hold a match to this corner.
All right.
Now, you see how slowly it burns?
Yeah.
Well, now we'll tear these sheets apart. Now we'll touch a match again, and now look at it burn. Well, that's what Rio Grande's cracking process does. It tears apart the sluggish, slow-burning drops of crude oil so they ignite faster, burn evenly. In uncracked gasolines, these slow-burning parts are wasted. They just slip down the cylinder walls, causing crankcase dilution. But there's no such waste with Rio Grande crack. Cracking liberates extra power, and you get quick starting, snap, and speed from Rio Grande's cracking process that can't be duplicated by any other gasoline available here. Now it is our pleasure to introduce Chief James E. Davis of the Los Angeles Police Department, who has a message for you. Chief Davis.
Good evening, friends. In pursuit of his duty, your police officer encounters daily problems which require the utmost understanding of human nature and a broad general knowledge in order to cope with them successfully. Clear-cut cases of premeditated crime for material gain are relatively easy. But when your officer encounters crimes of passion, then he has a really complex problem to solve. For some of the hidden, subconscious motivations for crime are stumbling blocks to the most astute psychiatrist. And often the policeman is called upon in an emergency to deal with cases which many a learned doctor would hesitate to handle. Such is the story we have to tell tonight. A weird tale of Oriental psychology and obscure, baffling motivations. It is a true story of how one pair of lovers sought to solve the insoluble problem of their lives and failed. This case is unique. In the history of the Los Angeles Police Department, there have occurred but a very few crimes in the Japanese colony, and this group of citizens offers less trouble to the police department than almost any other of our heterogeneous population.
Koji, my Koji, you are late.
I went on until I be sure your husband has got.
Oh, him. He gone all right. He won't be back all day.
Oh, I bring you more books.
Oh, Koji, you are so kind to me. I'm not knowing what I do if you were not so kind.
Why, I love you, Ayako.
And I love you.
Oh, we cannot go on.
Not go on? What do you mean? I cannot live without you, Koji.
But I mean, as we are now, stealing a few moments here and there when your husband's back is turned.
Oh, I know it is hard. But what can we do?
Well, you could go away with me.
Go away with you? No, Koji, I could not.
Why?
That would be a disgrace. That would outrage our ancestors.
Better to outrage them that way than insult them the way we are doing, my lovely flower.
Yes, I guess you are right.
Come with me. You do not love your husband. Why should you spend the rest of your life in unhappiness?
Oh, I don't know, Koji. I don't know what to do. I love you. I only live when you are with me. But there are other things.
What other things? What matters but our love?
Many, many things. Customs of our people, our religion.
Forget them, Ayako. Come with me. We will go away together. I will work. Soon we will have much money. Then we can go back home to Japan.
To go back to Japan. With you, Koji. Oh, that would be beautiful.
Then come away with me, Ayako. Now.
Now?
Why not? Why should we waste time?
All right, Koji. I go.
I will give offerings at the temples of Nara for this day. Hurry, Ayako, hurry. We must go before your husband returns.
It will take me no time. I will get Molly.
Molly? You are not going to take the child with us, are you?
Oh, yes, of course.
But, Ayako, we cannot do that.
Then you do not love my daughter?
Oh, of course I do. I love her as dearly as if she were my own because she is yours. But it would not be fair to the child to take her with us. Leave Molly with her father.
No. It would not be fair to her to leave her with her father. And when she grow up bad because she did not have her mother with her. People would tell her what a terrible thing her mother had done. She grow up hating memory of me.
But Ayako,
Molly, go with me, or I do not go.
Very well, then. Get the child ready.
Yeah, what can I do for you?
Oh, please. I want to see boss policeman.
Who do you mean, the chief?
Oh, no. Man, tell me come here.
What's it about?
My wife. She go away. No coming back.
Oh, well, you're in the right place, all right. This is the Missing Persons Bureau.
You finding my wife for me?
I can't guarantee that. Just a minute. I'll let you talk to the captain. Right this way.
What is it, Sergeant?
This man's wife is missing.
Very well, I'll talk to him. Come in, sir.
Oh. You boss policeman?
Well, I'm head of the Missing Persons Bureau.
Oh.
You say your wife is missing?
Wife. She go away. She took Molly with her.
Molly? Who's Molly?
Oh, Molly, our little girl. Wife, she go away, took Molly with her. You find free?
Well, we'll do what we can.
I think maybe somebody murdered him. Oh, I'm feeling very worried.
No, I wouldn't think anything like that. Had there been any trouble like that, we'd have heard of it. She's probably gone to visit some friends and forgotten to tell you.
Oh, no. No going visiting friends. Our friends say no see for one today.
Have you been getting along all right with your wife?
Wait.
Had any arguments or fights with your wife?
Oh, no. Ayako and I, we peaceful. We not fight.
Was she interested in any other man?
Oh, no. My wife not being that kind of woman. She good woman. She only interested in me.
Well, if you'll just fill out this report here, we'll keep our eyes open for her.
Yes, thank you. Please, do you thinking maybe she and Molly kidnapped?
Might have been. Have you any money?
Oh, with a bit. Maybe somebody think I have much.
Maybe. In that case, of course, you'll receive a ransom note in a few days. And if you do, be sure to let us know.
Oh, yes, I do. And you look for them, please?
Sure thing. We'll do the best we can.
Molly, you sleeping?
Yes, peaceful sleeping. Sleeping last sleep.
Ayako, are you sure you want to do this?
Yes. It is the only way. I cannot live without you. When we commit Shinju, then we together always. In Gokuraku, in heaven.
But we are together now on Earth. Cannot we go on like this?
No, my Koji. I have thought it all over. It is wrong. It is disgrace. My husband would kill us if he found us. We always feel haunted while we live on Earth. Better we commit Shinju.
And what about Molly?
Molly, she die with us.
Oh, no, Ayako. We have no right to take her life.
My daughter go with me in death?
Oh, but there must be some other way.
What's the matter with you? Are you afraid? Do you not love me enough to die with me?
Oh, of course I do, but
Oh, my beloved. It will not hurt. I have stopped the door and window. Just turn on gas.
No.
In each other's arms, we await death.
Very well. I turning on.
My beloved Koji, I love you.
And I love you, Ayako.
This way, my sweet Lord, we be together for eternity.
Months pass. Long, torturous, anxious months for distraught Mr. Conda, who hears no word of his wife and daughter. He loses interest in his business, closes his home, goes to live with his brother and sister-in-law. All day long, he sits listlessly, gazing vacantly into space, anxiously wondering about his wife and his beloved daughter. Then one day the phone rings, and his brother answers it.
Hello?
Kanda-san.
Yes?
Kanda, Rinzabura-san.
No, this is his brother. Do you want to speak to him?
No, you do. He's still looking for wife and baby?
Yes. Yes, do you know where they are?
I know where Kanda Okasan is.
Where?
She's living on ranch, Lobita side with Koji Otomato.
What is it, brother?
Wait until I hear this. What about Molly? Is she with them?
I not know. I not see her.
Who is speaking?
I'm a friend.
Who are you?
I admire Kanda-san. Have I not done enough? My identity makes no difference.
Yes, but I
have told you all important parts.
Hello? He hung up.
What is it, brother? It's about Ayako and Molly?
Yes. Ayako is living with Koji Otomato, living on the ranch in Lomita.
And Molly? What about her?
He did not say.
Come, brother. There's no time to lose. We must bring them back.
Wait a minute, brother. I shall get our friend Kashida. He and I will bring them back if they are there.
But I too must go.
No. It might not be safe. If Ayako is with Otomato, there might be trouble.
But
No. You let me do this for you, brother.
But bring them back to me. Please, bring them back to me.
I will. I promise you. If they are there, I will bring them back.
Los Angeles Police calling car 32, car 32, 3483 West 97th Street. See the man. 3483 West 97th Street. See the man.
Oh, 3483. Well, throw your light over on this side, Ed.
Yeah.
This is a 3400 block.
Yeah, there's the house. The one with the old Ford parked in front.
See the man? What man? I don't see any man, do you?
No. But listen.
Well, somebody's raising the devil, that's his hint. I guess that's what they call.
Yeah, let's go.
I'll try this bell. Bell's broken.
Well, knock then.
Yeah, they're making so much noise in there they can't hear us.
See if the door's unlocked.
Hey, taking that guy.
Now, what's the trouble here?
I tell you, every Tabula Kanda. That woman crying over there, that is my wife. And this object of dirt beneath my feet is Kojo Tomatoes. He ran away with my wife and baby. You not tell me where my baby is? My wife say, Molly, get lost. She lie. They both lie. 6 months ago, Tomato ran away with my wife. We find them only today. We call in neighbors. We try shame Ayako. But she no shame. She not tell truth, so I call you. Officer, you make her tell truth about my baby.
I'm not knowing anything. I'm doing nothing.
Quiet. Shut up or I'll run you all in. Now you, what's your name?
Jorge Hatamato.
You run away with this woman here?
Yes.
Why?
We love each other. We loving each other many months.
He was my friend. I trusted him.
All right, Mr. Conda, be quiet, please. Let's hear his story.
What about Mr. Conda's little daughter?
I can't explaining everything.
And we'll hear all the explaining in a few minutes. May 7th, 1935, Calling All Cars on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. But after these messages, we'll first hear about the news from 87 years ago today.
No offense, but are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secrets to lose 3 to 5 pounds a week easily without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt by Med Diet. For the last 2 decades, we've been helping people just like you that have pounds they want to shed. We've helped millions of people lose thousands and thousands of pounds over the years. And now it's your turn. Learn the secrets of how to lose weight with one simple phone call. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a money-back guarantee. If you're ready to start losing weight right now, call right now to learn more about your risk-free order to Body Sculpt.
Call for your risk-free offer. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. That's 800-738-5332.
Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt. Your shoulder hurts. Your elbow and back are constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore. Am I right? Well, here's something you haven't tried. Pain Magic. Pain Magic is not available at any drugstore. The only place you can get it is by calling the special toll-free number I'm about to give you.
And to make things even better, call right now and find out about our buy one, get one free offer. We're so confident it'll work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase. No prescription required.
Call now to learn how you can get Pain Magic and get rid of your pain. Remember, your results may vary.
800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. That's 800-492-8164.
Thanks for spending part of your weekend with us here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. This hour, an episode of Calling All Cars, going all the way back to Tuesday, May 7th, 1935. In the newspapers of that Tuesday, 87 years ago, these were some of the headlines. The flood menace struck at the Mid-South again, claiming 10 lives in 4 states and inundating thousands of acres of farm and rangelands. Rains that freed portions of the Dust Bowl of Haze for the first time since February swelled streams to flood stage with a threat of destruction for lowland crops. Louisiana counting 5 dead as a wagon plunged through a bridge as the victims fled from floodwaters near Opelousas. Oklahoma and Texas had 2 deaths each, while 1 man drowned in Arkansas. Apparently, certain Senate passage of a full cash bonus measure, despite veto warnings, stood out in bold relief today against the administration legislative program shadowed by a vital Supreme Court ruling. Senate leaders conceding their weekend efforts to work out a bonus compromise had collapsed, showing more concern over the future of President Roosevelt's Social Security program and the proposed extension of the National Recovery Agency. Hastily, they sought to measure the outlooks for both in the light of the legal standards on which the High Court held the Railway Retirement Act unconstitutional. In contrast, the bonus issue appeared clear-cut. Leaders look for a test, probably tomorrow, that would point to whether the Vincent Orthodox payment bill or the Patterman proposal to pay the bonus with new currency would go to the White House. King George V of England knelt today with the reverence of an humble pilgrim in ancient St. Paul's Cathedral to give thanks to God for completion of 25 years on the throne, while all his vast empire celebrated his jubilee with mingled prayers and merrymaking. Oscar Leadling of the Associated Press, writing differences of time and space, race and creed and social status banished, as loyal British subjects everywhere paid homage to the fifth of the Georges and one of the best-loved monarchs ever to rule an empire. The Supreme Court tagged the Railway Pension Act unconstitutional in a 5-4 decision, which left congressional leaders puzzled over the validity of the administration's proposed Social Security legislation. The verdict whirled rail stocks into a short-lived upward spurt, sent interested senators to their desks to study the security and NRA bills in the light of the court's pronouncement, and brought from rail labor leaders a statement that another retirement measure would be introduced soon. Out of a foggy sky, United States Senator Bronson Cunningham, New Mexico, a young woman and 2 pilots plunged to swift death today in a giant airliner near Macon, Missouri. Its 5 gas tanks nearly dry, its cabin echoing the shout, "Buckle your belts tight." In the next instant, the sleek, night-flying TWA Sky Chief, a low-wing monoplane, crashed with terrific force in a mud-soaked farm pasture near Atlanta, Missouri. All of the 9 passengers who escaped death were brought to Macon seriously injured. The pilot gasped before he died, "I was forced down because of lack of gasoline." And the Pulitzer Prizes for the Best Original American Play and the Outstanding Novel for 1934 bestowed last night upon Zoe Atkins' The Old Maid and Josephine Winslow Johnson's Now in November. And those some of the day's top news stories, as reported in the newspapers of Tuesday, May 7th, 1935, on your radio calling all cars. The conclusion next on this Saturday Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.
Are you suffering with arthritis or osteoporosis? Do you have diabetes? Did you know that these are just 2 of the hundreds of diseases that have seen improvement with Dr. Wallach's incredible longevity products? You can't get them at a health food store. The only way to get them is to call us at 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Do you have heart disease, fibromyalgia, or high blood pressure? Do you have a terrible time losing weight? Dr. Wallach can help. He was a veterinarian and cured diseases in animals. He felt that he could do the same for humans, so he became a physician. Over 50 years of research and helping people like you goes into every bottle of Dr. Wallach's amazing discoveries. Do you want to feel better? Learn how to treat the cause of your problem rather than covering up the symptoms with drugs. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065.
On Sunday's Classic Radio Theater, some classic comedy with Robert Young and Father Knows Best. From 70 years ago, May 8, 1952, Kathy's twin sister. Kathy is still hot on being a boy, Sam, but she's going to have to be a girl to go on a date to the military academy where she, as Sam, wants to go. That'll be coming up on Sunday's Classic Radio Theater, but now the conclusion of Calling All Cars, 87 years ago, May 7th, 1935.
Ayako and I, we go to San Pedro. As soon as I'm making enough money, we go to Japan.
All right. But what about the baby?
I'm telling you all that. Next morning, after we run away, I go to a store for groceries. I leaving Ayako in car and taking Molly by hand. Then come sounding of police siren, and I think police after me for running away with Ayako, and I hurrying back to car, forgetting Molly. We going back, Molly not there. We cannot finding Molly.
He lie. He killed Molly.
What do you think we are, Hot Tomato? Couple of kids? You don't expect us to fall for that story, do you?
What did you do with that baby?
No, not accusing Koji, please. Koji, tell him true.
Well, it doesn't sound right to me. Get on your things, both of you. You're going to headquarters.
The alert radio patrolmen deliver their two prisoners to the university station, where detectives Harvey I. Birch and Clifford A. Gillen are assigned to the case. The two men direct their attentions first on Hotomato. 4 hours they question and cross-question him, trying to blast his story, trying to break him down.
Hotomato, for the last time, where's that child?
I'm very sorry, not knowing.
Why don't you admit you're lying? Why don't you tell us the truth?
I tell the truth.
You say that you were frightened by the police siren. You ran back to the car where Mrs. Conda was waiting for you. You drove away and then realized that you'd forgotten Molly, huh?
Yes.
And you returned to this market, or whatever it was, and you couldn't find her.
Yes.
How long were you away from the market?
Oh, maybe 5 minutes, driving around block.
Did you question anybody in the market about the child?
Oh yes. Nobody knowing anything.
Why didn't you report her disappearance to the police?
I was saying police make Ayako go back to her husband. Ayako want to stay with me forever.
Been in this country long, Koji?
Oh, 7 years now.
Yeah, what do you do for a living?
Oh, I first-rate #1 mechanic.
Business pretty good these days?
Oh, yeah. Many Japanese needing automobile fixed.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty good business to be in. Someday you'll have a garage of your own and be a big shot, I guess, huh?
Oh, yes, sir. I hope so.
Yeah. Koji, where's Molly Conda?
I don't know. I wishing I know. I wishing I could tell you.
Take him back to your cell, Sergeant.
Yes, sir. Come along.
Oh, please, sir.
Come on, back to your furnished room.
Yeah, he sure is a hot baby to crack. I'll say. Of course, there is a chance that he's telling the truth.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound right to me.
Look at it this way. There's plenty of Japanese on San Pedro. Maybe the kid did wander off, and some childless woman took pity on it and gave it a home without even knowing that she could notify the police.
Yeah, it might happen, but it isn't likely.
Of course, his explanation of their failing to report the child missing is logical enough. Naturally, they'd be afraid of being discovered.
Well, let's have a little talk with Mrs. Condon.
Good idea. See if her story jibes.
You got that picture of the baby?
Yeah, right here.
Okay, let's go.
At the Lincoln Heights jail to which Mrs. Conda had been removed, Gillen and Birch are admitted to the unhappy woman's cell.
Morning, Mrs. Conda. I'm Detective Birch, and this is Detective Gillen.
Yes?
I want to ask you some questions.
What for? What for you keeping me here, please?
I want to know about Molly. Where is she?
Molly lost.
Lost? How'd you get lost?
Koji telling truth last night?
Mrs. Conda, didn't you worry about her? Didn't you wonder where she went?
Yes. I wondering.
Well, then why didn't you tell the police? Ask them to help you find her.
I loving Koji. If police know, they make me go back to my husband.
Mrs. Conda, aren't you interested in your baby's welfare? Don't you care where she is?
Oh, yes, I caring, but I love Koji.
Mrs. Conda, this is a picture of your little daughter, isn't it?
Yes, that's Molly.
She's a sweet little thing. Lovely smile. Little girl, it would be the pride and joy of any mother's heart. Don't you love her, Mrs. Conda?
Yes, I'm loving her. But I loving Koji.
Think of this poor child, alone down there in San Pedro. Cold, hungry. Maybe she wandered to the end of a pier and fell in the harbor. Maybe she's drowned. Don't you care?
Yes, I caring.
Then where is she?
I not knowing.
You do know, Mrs. Conda. Where's your baby?
Koji telling truth. It's all same Koji say.
Koji didn't tell the truth. He lied. You're lying.
Let me talk, Koji, please.
Tell us the truth, Mrs. Conda. Where is Molly?
Let me talk, Koji.
You can talk to Koji when you've told the truth.
I'm telling truth.
Come on, Harvey, let's go.
You haven't found out anything.
Yeah, well, I got an idea.
Okay.
Now, Mrs. Conda, think it over. All we want from you is the truth. You and Koji can see each other just as soon as you've decided to tell us the truth.
What's on your mind, Cliff? I think she's wilting. I believe you're right at that.
Well, let's get a Japanese priest. Maybe if he prays over her, she'll come clean.
Namo Ame Habutso. Namo Ame Habutso.
I'm telling truth. I'm telling truth now.
Very well, Mrs. Gander. Where's Molly?
Molly, dead.
Dead. How'd she die? Who killed her?
Nobody killed her. She's dead.
How did it happen?
I'm telling you everything. Koji and I, we disgrace. We decide commit Shinju.
Shinju? What's that?
Shinju, double suicide of lovers. A very common practice in Japan.
Please go on, Mrs. Gander.
I'm telling Koji we disgrace. We're not finding happiness in life. We're finding happiness in Gokuraku, in heaven. Koji turning on gas and we going to sleep. Next morning, we're not in Gokuraku. We're waking up, eyes burning, throats parching. We're not being dead. Only Molly. She's dead.
Where is she now?
Koji, he make grave behind chicken house.
Will you show us the grave, Mrs. Gander?
Yes, I'm showing you. Can I see Koji now, please?
A stenographer takes down Mrs. Conda's tragic story and she signs it. Then the officers return to University Station and read it to the impassive Koji.
And here's her signature at the bottom.
Yes, sir. I see.
Is this a true statement?
Yes.
She says you intended to commit suicide. Why didn't you try again?
We're planning to try again. We're going to railroad track. I was to shoot Ayako and then shoot myself. Pain come along, run over us.
Well, why didn't you do it?
Oh, too many people around.
Well, you just abandoned the idea of suicide. Huh?
Well, man next door, he finding job for me.
I see.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ayako, sorry. We die to pay for our sin.
Well, maybe you will at that. First, I want you to go down to Lomita with us and show us where you buried that baby.
Accompanied by two deputy sheriffs, the detectives drive to Lomita with Ayako and Koji. Behind the chicken house, Koji halts the party.
Oh, you're digging here, please.
No, my Koji. This not being placed. You forget it was over here.
Where?
Right there.
Okay, Harvey, start digging. And be careful. Hey, what is this? All I'm digging up is tin cans.
Molly down there, all right. I'm telling Koji put tin cans on top so nobody thinks she buried here.
Make it look like an old rubbish pit, eh? You better go careful now, Harvey. Okay. Hey, I hit something that time. Yeah. There she is. Okay, boys. Get your pictures of this. Cliff, better call the morgue ambulance.
Oh, please, mister. Have you got a rope with two loops in it? Koji and I want to die right away.
Following day, little Molly Conda's body is post-mortemed at the morgue. What the autopsy surgeon discovers sends him flying to the telephone to summon Birch and Gillen to his office.
Well, Doctor, what's all the excitement?
Plenty.
Well, what is it?
That child wasn't asphyxiated. She was shot through the head.
What? How do you know?
I found 2 bullet holes in her skull.
Koji, who shot little Molly?
Oh, please.
That baby was shot, not gassed.
I'm not understanding.
Oh, yes, you understand. Who shot Molly?
You let me talk, Ayako.
No, tell us who shot Molly.
We meant to die.
Did you shoot her?
Oh, yes. Ayako making me do it. I tried to tell her to leave Molly with her father. Ayako say no. She take Molly along. Then she think disgrace too much for Molly. We mean to Shinju.
Yeah, you told us about that. Why did you shoot the child?
Ayako tell me to. She say, go ahead and get it over with. I don't want to killing. She say, what's wrong with you? You are getting cold. She say I am weak. I know weak, but no one for killing little child. She make me do it. I take Molly to shed back of house. I give her toy. She sit on floor, play with toy. Then I do it. Oh, I come back to house. Ayako asked if I do it. I say yes. She say, will she die now? I say, yes. She say, are you sure? I say, yes. And then I fainting. Oh, you kill me now, please. I ready for dying. Please, you kill me right away.
I'm afraid the law will have to take its course.
Why'd you shoot her twice?
I no shoot twice. I shoot only once.
Well, there were 2 bullet holes in her head.
No, I no shooting twice.
Say, Harvey, I wonder. Do you suppose Mrs. Conda shot her again to be sure she was dead?
I don't know. This case has got me. I've seen a lot of tough ones, but I never worked on a more horrible thing than this.
Faced with the accusation of having also shot her child, Mrs. Conda vehemently denies participating in the actual murder. Both she and Hotomato enter pleas of guilty. But when Mrs. Conda comes up for trial, she changes her plea to not guilty and demands a jury. Feeling in the Japanese colony runs high, and prominent Japanese throng the courtroom to hear the trial of this woman who had become a disgrace to their nationality. Mrs. Conda on the stand changes her story, tries to lay the blame at Koji's feet.
Koji come tell me he giving farewell party before going Japan. I leave house with him. He make me come to ranch in Nomita. He tell me we do Shinju. I don't want to die, but he say I must. I say if I must, then I want die with my Molly. I say, if you shooting me with Molly in my arms. I'm afraid, Koji. We try die with gas, but our head aching and our eyes burning. After Koji shooting Molly, we try die many times. We no can do. We plan die again, and the officers finding us. Now, all we want to do is die. Oh, please, Judge, give us order to die.
But the judge did not award the easier penalty to Ayako. She was sentenced to San Quentin, where for the rest of her life she must contemplate her crime. For the judge recommended that she never be granted parole or pardon. Koju Hotamata, her lover, was sentenced to hang. The trial never brought out the mystery of the second bullet, nor did it ever uncover a convincing answer to the many complex angles of this strange story of Oriental love. For reasons inexplicable to the Occident, these 2 unfortunates felt that the crime of murder was not as great as their initial sin of infidelity. It is a tragic note that an innocent little child should be made to pay the price for their passion.
Thank you, Chief Davis. Ladies and gentlemen, you can get further information about the true police cases featured on this program by reading the Calling All Cars News. The latest issue, profusely illustrated in colors, contains true detective stories and unusual movie and radio news. It's free. Just look for the independent Rio Grande service station in your neighborhood. Drive in, ask for your copy of the Calling All Cars News. Our independent dealers are glad to hand you this gift. You are under no obligation to buy Rio Grande cracked gasoline. This is your narrator, Frederick Lindsley, bidding you good night for the Rio Grande Oil Company.
From 87 years ago, May 7th, 1935, Calling All Cars on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We thank you for tuning in today. Please thank this radio station and support their advertisers. It is their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you each and every time we roll around here on your favorite radio station. And if you miss a day on this station, you do not have to miss a single show. We produce 21 hours of classic radio theater each and every week, and you can find them on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, TuneIn, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Amazon, and Facebook. Just search for Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. You can find our Facebook link at my webpage, which is classicradio.stream. You can find all our social media links there. You can contact me there. You can hear our shows on demand, and you can learn more about building a classic radio collection of your own. classicradio.stream. And don't forget about the Eden Pure Deals by going to EdenPureDeals.com. Promo code Classic3. Have yourself a great day. I'm Wyatt Cox. Tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.